Have you ever wondered why some people seem so peaceful, content, and full of energy, no matter what life throws at them? The secret may lie in the simplest habits. Tenzin was like many men, rushing through life with little time to pause and reflect. He worked long hours, trying to find success and stability, but something inside him felt out of balance. One day, at a temple, he met a monk who seemed untouched by the stress that plagued everyone else. Curiosity led him to a conversation that would change the course of his life. The monk smiled when Tenzin asked, "How are you always so calm? How do you live without feeling overwhelmed?" The monk took a deep breath and said, "It is not about avoiding stress, but about the habits that shape how you deal with it. If you want to change your life, you must first change the small things you do each day." Tenzin, intrigued, sat down, ready to learn the wisdom that could transform his life. Mindful breathing. The monk began with something deceptively simple. "The breath is the bridge between the body and the mind," he said. "Every day, start with just 5 minutes of mindful breathing." Tenzin was skeptical at first. How could something as basic as breathing make any difference? But as he tried it, he noticed how his racing thoughts began to settle. The monk explained that focusing on the breath helps ground us in the present, away from the worries of the future or regrets of the past. It was the foundation of mindfulness, a key to unlocking a life free from constant mental noise. Practice gratitude daily. One of the easiest ways to shift your perspective, the monk continued, is to focus on gratitude. Each morning, before Tenzin even got out of bed, he was asked to think of 3 things he was grateful for. At first, it felt forced, but over time, he noticed his mindset began to change. Instead of dreading the day ahead, he found himself appreciating the small things, like a cool breeze or a warm meal. Gratitude shifted his focus from what was missing in his life to what was already present, filling him with a sense of abundance. Eat mindfully. Tenzin had always been in a rush, especially during meals. He would eat quickly without tasting the food, his mind on the next task. The monk introduced him to the idea of mindful eating, encouraging him to savor every bite. Tenzin was taught to slow down, to appreciate the textures and flavors, and to chew each mouthful thoroughly. Not only did this improve his digestion, but it also helped him feel more connected to the present moment. Eating became a meditation, a practice that nourished both his body and soul. Move your body with awareness. Movement is essential, the monk said, but not just any movement. He taught Tenzin that the body is a temple and should be treated with respect. This did not mean pushing it to extremes, but rather engaging in daily gentle movement. Whether it was a walk, yoga, or stretching, the key was to move with awareness. Tenzin began to walk more, not as a way to burn calories, but as a way to connect with his surroundings. He learned to appreciate the sensation of his feet on the ground, the rhythm of his steps, and the natural world around him. Declutter your space. One day, the monk asked Tenzin about his living space. Tenzin admitted it was cluttered, filled with things he no longer needed or used. The monk explained how physical clutter often mirrors mental clutter. By clearing away unnecessary items, Tenzin would also create space in his mind. It was a habit of simplicity, keeping only what was essential. After decluttering, Tenzin felt a sense of lightness, as if his home had become a sanctuary of peace, rather than a source of stress. Get enough rest. Rest is sacred, the monk reminded him. Tenzin had been guilty of sacrificing sleep in the name of productivity, but the monk showed him that true rest was not a luxury, but a necessity for a balanced life. Tenzin learned to prioritize sleep, setting a consistent bedtime, and creating a calming routine before bed. With better rest, he noticed his energy levels improve, and his mind became clearer. It was a reminder that the body needs time to heal and recharge. Digital detox. Tenzin had never realized how much time he spent on his phone, scrolling through endless feeds, bombarded by information. The monk suggested a digital detox, where Tenzin would disconnect from his devices for certain periods of the day. At first, it was difficult. He felt the urge to check messages and notifications. But slowly, he began to feel a sense of freedom. Without the constant noise of the digital world, he was able to reconnect with himself, to be more present with the people around him, and to experience life without distractions. Serve others. The monk also emphasized the importance of service. Helping others is one of the purest ways to find fulfillment, he said. Tenzin started volunteering at a local shelter once a week, not out of obligation, but as an opportunity to practice compassion. It was a humbling experience, one that shifted his perspective from his own problems to the larger needs of the community. The more he gave, the more he felt connected to the world around him. Learn to let go. One of the most challenging lessons for Tenzin was learning to let go. The monk explained that much of our suffering comes from attachment to outcomes, to possessions, to ideas of how things should be. To find peace, the monk said, you must learn to let go of what you cannot control. This was not easy for Tenzin, but with practice, he began to release his tight grip on life. Whether it was letting go of old grudges or expectations, he found that each act of letting go brought him a little more peace. Meditate daily. Finally, the monk shared the importance of meditation. Even just a few minutes of stillness each day could have a profound impact on the mind. Tenzin was taught to sit quietly, focusing on his breath or a mantra, allowing his thoughts to come and go without attachment. Meditation became a daily practice for him, a way to quiet the noise in his mind and connect with his inner self. It was through this practice that he found a deeper sense of peace and clarity. As Tenzin reflected on the habits he had adopted, he realized that none of them were complicated. They were simple, often overlooked, but when practiced consistently, they had the power to transform his life. He no longer felt like he was running on empty. Instead, he felt balanced, grounded, and connected to something greater than himself. These habits, the monk said, are like seeds. Plant them, nourish them, and watch them grow. They will change not just your life, but the way you experience the world. Tenzin nodded, understanding now that the key to a better life was not in chasing more, but in cultivating the right habits.